Hi, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. I am on. Cool. All right, so another day, another beautiful day in the market, or I guess I should say a beautiful day to be alive. You know, the market may not be beautiful, but yeah, we'll see what happens. We got a couple of watchers here. STTK, I saw that one going up. It's up 122%. SPRC up 35%. CCCC up 29%. And then ADTX was a mover from yesterday that we actually ended up trading on yesterday. Looking over here on the top volume movers, those three that I just called out are pretty much the top ones that are up over 10%, getting some motion now. The ATRs on these are looking like STTK with 23. This may change on the open, though. It may be a lot higher than that. We'll see. SPRC is over $1.36, or I said over. It is $1.36 ATR since yesterday. That may change on the open. Then CCC was also a mover from yesterday, only an ATR of 28 cents. So we'll see what happens with those. Let's go ahead and look into the movers for today, and then I'll go over the trade that I took yesterday. So first things first, STTK. Jump over here. STTK. This is Shot-Tuck Labs. Shot-Tuck Labs. That doesn't sound American. Let's see. Maybe it is. Okay, out of Texas. This is a healthcare and biotechnology. It's a clinical stage biotechnology company, develops therapeutics for the treatment of cancer and autoimmune diseases or disease in the United States. The company's lead product candidate is SL 172154, which is a phase 1 clinical trial for the treatment of ovarian and fallopian tube and peritoneal cancers. The company was incorporated in 2006. So again, this cancer news, we got the ovarian in there, so may get a little dicey there with SSTK, which it already has. It's up 118%, so maybe one to keep an eye on. Let's jump over to its statistics. And also, good morning, Donnell. Statistics, it's got a float of 30.65 million. Has what, 48% held by institutions, 48, but this may not all be accurate. I don't know when the last time this was updated. We will cross check and see what other sites say. Okay, so they had 3 hours ago, they announced that they had a positive top line data for ongoing phase 1A/B dose expansion of clinical trial of that thing I just read about. All right, let's jump over here to FinViz, STTK. Right, so again over here, float around 36 million, shares outstanding around 42.39 million. Let's see, short interest. Okay, is it shortable? It is shortable and it is optionable. STTK. Okay, same float over here. So most of them are saying it has a float around 30 million. Let's look over here. Shelf registration back in 2022. So shelf registration is over a year ago. Probably won't affect it much today. Okay, so short interest increased 11%. This is 20 minutes delayed. So the last time it was probably taken was like 740-ish, something like that. Okay, good. We'll take a look at the charts as well, but I think I'm gonna take a look at the charts after we go through the news because the charts are a lot quicker to look at. Where am I going? So let's jump over to SPRC next. we've seen this one. I mean, this is one that we probably are used to seeing. SciSpark Limited, up to $6.51. This is a health and biotechnology company as well, out of Israel. Last time I saw it, it was like at $2. It always does moves in pre market. Sometimes it has continuation, but a lot of times it gets choppy. But we'll have to see what the news is on it today. They're working. Are they working on cancer stuff too? No, they're working on sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea, Alzheimer's disease and agitation, treatment for pain, and treatment of autism spectrum disorder and epilepsy. So no cancer news, but they do have some other kind of hitters over there. Let's jump over to FinViz with SPRC. The float is looking like 2.45 million, so much lower float. Let me jump back over here to this statistics. Float is under a million over here on this one. And SPRC. Yep, 2.45 million over here on this one as well. Shares outstanding, 7 million something there. Shares outstanding, so very low float. Probably could get crazy today. SPRC. Do you have any shelves or anything? Shelf registration for last month on this one, which is November 20th, and then, well, November 3rd, and then amendments on the 20th. Okay, what about short squeeze? SPRC. We have a short interest increase, very small short interest percent. Oh, no, that's not a small increase. That's 1,000% increase in short interest. 1,690%. That's a lot of shorts ready for that one. We'll see how this plays out today. Of course, this thing will need to update in the next 20 minutes. I'll come and refresh this and look back at it and see where it's at. Let's go to the next one, which is CCC, which was a mover from yesterday. I don't know if it's going to do any kind of continuation. Actually, wait a minute. Did I look at the news here? SPRC, 49 minutes ago, announces positive results for MitoCare X Bio with its drug discovery program. Let's actually look over here at this one. The news here, SPRC. See what the news is. SPRC, yeah, that's pretty much it today. Announces the positive results. Now let's go over to CCC. CCC is C4 Therapeutics. You have 35 million in the float on STTK. I believe so. I believe that sounds about right. Okay, C4 Therapeutics, 17 hours ago, it announced positive data from CF whatever phase 1 in relapsed refractory multi myeloma, whatever. I think we already traded one that was moving on a catalyst that had this, but it wasn't CCC. It was something else. Let's go to statistics. Float of 39.86 million. Let's cross-check that. And also, let's look into the profile real quick. Healthcare, a lot of healthcare and biotechnologies. A lot of shorts and longs kind of fear biotechs because sometimes they can get just unruly. We see those big wicks. We see those failed breakouts. A lot of the things that people talk about that are bad about trading come from biotechs. So it's good to kind of know the history of biotechs before you start to kind of touch on them. Let's see. Clinical stage biopharmaceutical companies. Develops novel therapeutic. What are you working on? Treatment of cancer, neurodegenerative conditions, and other diseases. Okay, so cancer is in there. There's a keyword there. Let's go ahead and jump over here to FinViz and look at this one. CCCC. Is it the same over here? Short shares float a little bit higher over here, 41.92 million. Short interest 1.88, but that might need to update. CCCC. Okay. Again, same thing, around 40 million in the float. Let's go over here to this one. CCCC. And we are looking like nope, there's an automatic shelf registration, but this is 2023. So this automatic, I think they last for 2 years. I don't know. I don't know what this one wants to do though. But I know automatic shelf registrations last longer than a regular one. I think a regular one is just like a year. Okay, let's continue on to short interest, CCC. Yeah, short percentage float, short percentage increase. Shorts have actually decreased their position there. And that may need to update coming into the open. Okay, so those are the stocks that we were pretty much looking at. Now on to the stock that I actually traded yesterday, ADTX, which had news. So basically ADTX acquired another company that created or patented a gel contraceptive. So instead of taking a pill, it's a gel contraceptive. So you rub it on and boom, boom, gone, baby, right? Now, yesterday, my thoughts on this was, this is going to be an emotional type stock. This is going to be a very emotional stock here because you have pro-lifers, you have folks that are pro-choice, you have all these other different people trying to get in on this. So I was like, I want to capitalize on the emotion of a play like this, right? The belief systems of the people, right? So let's go ahead and jump over to the charts, to ADTX, and we'll jump over here. So this is what we were looking at yesterday. The first thing I noticed on this monthly chart was it gives back profits. And I was like, okay, so I need to be willing to play this catalyst, take what I can, and get out. That was the plan, looking at this monthly chart off the top. Huge downtrend, has gotten beat down a lot. We jump down a little bit to the weekly chart. We just see a beat down, beat down, beat down, beat down. The daily chart, we did see a gap up yesterday. And what I'm looking for, especially in something that was getting beat down like this, is I'm looking for whole dollar supports to hold, because there wasn't a whole lot of information except on the from the pre-market. There was a pre-market level that was pretty obvious. I was like, okay, I think that's where I want to play. Jumping into the 4-hour chart, we can see it almost just looks like consolidation here, but it did have this huge rip out of the open and then it splashed down. Over here to the hour chart, same story. And this is where I pretty much formulated what I wanted to do here. I saw this move out of the open. The bottom of this was right around $6. And in the Discord, I had already called out. I was like, yo, I'm looking for this $6 mark to get tested. If it can hold there, I'm looking for entries. So let's jump over here to the 15-minute. And this is pretty much what I was doing. So I saw this during pre-market, this little, whoops, can I get it? Okay, so I saw this little point that got some buying pressure right around this 6. And I saw it go up here and I was like, okay, I'm just going to be patient. Let this thing fall down, because these big bars to me mean that there is momentum to whatever direction that it's going. And so I saw this first red candle. I was like, okay, cool. Maybe it'll just kind of slow down. We'll see. And then it dropped again, and it dropped to the pretty much the open level here, or not the open level, but the previously tested level. And again, when I think about these stocks, usually the hot stocks of the day don't do what you want them to do at the time that you want them to do them. And so I was like, I think I need to let this thing play out a little bit more and just practice a little bit of patience, because I've seen this a couple of times, especially on these that have gotten beat down a lot. A lot of times they do not make the turns that you want them to make. A lot of times when you're like, okay, this is bullish, they just flip on you. And that's what happened right here, coming into this entry level where people were taking trades here, came down here and bounced a little bit back up to 7 and then crashed right on through 7 down here to the 650s. Now on yesterday, I was like, okay, 650 is not where I want to be. I don't want to focus on $half levels. I want a whole dollar level to be tested for me to try to take a trade. And so it came down here all the way to the $6. And I was like, I saw it on this candle. I did not take the trade on this candle. Even though it was looking kind of like what was set up over here, I was like, let me get some confirmation and make sure this thing can hold the 6. And as soon as I saw the next candle open up and I saw more buying pressure coming up on the 6, I entered and I got an average price of 618 was my average price on 1,000 shares. So I got 1,000 shares right there on the bottom. And my risk, and I'll pull up the calculator in a little bit to show y'all how I calculate the risk. But I was looking for this thing to repeat this previous pre-market pattern because there really wasn't any other past data. But yeah, took the trade there, and yeah, it went up there. And the other idea that I had was this right here almost looked like a shoulder to me, this $7 level. So that was the target, basically $7. So from the 618 up to the $7 is what I was pretty much getting. Now, as for calculations, let's go ahead and jump over here to the calculator. And I'm gonna zoom this out some so y'all can see. All right, so basically I started account balance. I entered my account, you know, whatever, $7,000 something dollars. And my expected entry price, the price that I was trying to expect to be buying it, was 610. I was like, if it holds the 6, I want to try to get in at 610. I did not exactly get the 610. I got 618, but it was 8 cents different. So I was like, whatever. Then down here, my risk that I had on the trade was $300, and it calculated out the max share size that I could have taken was 1,000, almost 1,200 shares. I elected. I was like, I don't know if I want to take that extra. I just take 1,000, right? Because that's already a pretty good position size for that area. And then it calculated the minimum share size that I can possibly take to reach this risk. So I was building in, taking shares around that 6, and the stop loss that it had calculated for me was 580. Now for me, in the Discord, I was like, man, if this thing starts to break 590, I'm probably gonna be putting in that hard stop to get that be out at 580. And so some of the variables that I looked for in the trade was, is the catalyst obvious? So the first one was definitely, it was kind of obvious, you know. It was like it's birth control. I didn't know. Sometimes contraceptives go and then sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just get choppy. But the note was acquisition of a company that made a gel birth control, right? The second one was, is there obvious support? This was based on a lack of information on the higher time frames, like the monthly and all of that. The obvious support was $6 based on what happened in pre-market. So I was like, okay, based on that, this is what's going to be my risk. So I said, if it can break and hold this level, I want to be trying to get as many shares as I can, as close to 610 as possible. And then was the trend obvious? It definitely wasn't. The trend on this one was, I really didn't like it. That's why I just gave it a 0 on that one. The other thing, it did have relative volume over 200x, almost 100 times the normal volume. It had a relative standard deviation of 7 deviations from the norm. And then the overall market sentiment. So I gave this one a 2 because the market was bullish. And on the previous day that I took a trade, the market was bullish. And so I want to keep up with what the market is doing. 1 is, hey, the market's bearish. 0 is the market is bearish. 1 is maybe going sideways. 2 is bullish. So that's kind of how I graded that. And then I took a screenshot, which looks like it. Okay, there it goes. Took a screenshot of what it was at like the RVOL and all this. And this was like after the trade, just looking at how much volume it had overall and all that stuff. Now let's jump into the actual trading journal here. So over here on my TraderSync, so this was the new trade. Made $586 on that trade. Got 58 cents into the profit. So the last 3 trades since I switched over to Charles Schwab. Now the only red trade that I had was that Dig Sporting Good, which I probably shouldn't even took. But these 3 right here actually met the criteria, had the catalyst, and scored to a point where I was like, yeah, let's do this entry. Um, and so yeah, like I said, ADTX average entry right around that 620-ish level. Got the ride up to the 679. I'm still 60%, 39% on the year here, so still doing pretty good on being right. Um, if I take off the Charles Schwab, it's way higher. It's like 75% because of this strategy that I'm using. It's a lot higher. If I take these off here, you can see 75 to 25. Those 3 trades since I switched over to TOS have been bangers. 3 consecutive winners and all of that stuff, right? So let's jump over to the calendar. And I've only taken 2 trades this month. So took one last Monday, $335, and another one yesterday, which was $586. So last month, well, hey, wait. I think I might have had some kind of trade. I'm missing something over here. Let me see. Put back in these 2. Yeah, I kind of figured I had 3 trades. So I had 3 trades last month. I was about to say I didn't make $48. But yeah, 3 trades last month, and I took these 2 weeks off. I was just watching the market, and I was just super busy. And I told myself, if I'm working or if I'm not in the mind space to take the trade, I just don't take it. So I just wiped those 2 weeks and stuck to the 2 greens on this one and 2 greens in this month. So we got 2 weeks left, and see what I can do in the end of the year, going towards the end of the year. But just taking my time and managing the risk, and trying to, take a very statistical approach, I guess you can say. But yeah, it is 8:21. Let's jump back over to the charts here. This one's at 5:10. Let's go ahead and see what we got. Drifter Mike D, what's up? Good morning. I was just going over everything, the trade from yesterday, and yeah, one trade, baby, one trade. If I can do it in one trade, I am so willing to walk away. I'm not greedy at all. I'm done being greedy. Anyway, back over to STTK, which is probably going to be the top mover coming out of the open. It has, we haven't looked at the charts on these, have we? We got 3 up here. We got STTK, CCC, and SPRC. I don't know if I'm going to continue to watch this one, ADTX, because it is down 15%, and the chances that it comes back up today is very not likely. And I already won on it, so kind of going to take that one off. But let's jump over here to STTK to start off with the charting. Again, this is another one that has been getting beat down, and has a little low down here of the 131. Right now it's up to the 446. So let's first find where that is on the chart. 446. So I think I'm just gonna call that 450. That's close enough. And so let's look at obvious levels here. Are there any obvious levels that it can drop to for a buy? We definitely have a level down here at 3, but that is quite a bit of a drop down there to 3. Looks like that's the previously tested level. Let's zoom back a little bit. And then we have this high up here of 471. So it could be a little bit of a zone. I don't know if that's going to be resistance or if it's going to be able to push through that. And then we also have this pushback. So it got up here to 585 at some point in the July of 2023. So it's been up here and failed twice. So will it be able to push through this resistance right here of the 450 is the question. So let's jump over here to the weekly chart. We can see that low. I might put a little zone there just to keep that in mind. Where's the zone? So we got a zone here. Okay. Actually, that might not be long enough. Draw this zone all the way across. And we'll see how it handles this zone. I'll make this zone red. I'm thinking it's going to be some resistance, but we might blast through it. We'll go back and look at the catalyst before the open. Edit properties. Come on now, edit. Rectangle. Red for resistance. All right. So we got a little bit of resistance on STK. If we drop down into the lower time frames here, the daily chart, not a whole lot of gaps to be filled. I'm looking for gaps. A lot of times the market is the market will fill gaps. So looking for any type of obvious gaps to be filled, and I really don't see any. So maybe I have to look at the lower time frame. Let's go even lower. 4 hours. Don't really see any gaps on the 4 hour as far as I can look back. So that's going to be an interesting one. It doesn't have any gaps to fill. It's just going to have to depend on itself, I guess. Let's go over to the next one, CCC, which I don't know if it's going to be something to watch, but whatever. CCC on the monthly chart at a top is actually trading around the 320s, 325s. So we'll put 325 up. 325 is where it's trading right now. Do we have any obvious levels that it could drop down to? Maybe 250s down here. Could be a little zone. But that 250 is right along with a previous high point. So could be some kind of test there, but it would have to pull back for me to the 250s to even be considerable. Plus, it probably doesn't have the ATR that I like anyway. Yeah, 28 cents ATR. I'm not trading that. I like to have a little bit higher ATR than that. SPRC is the only one that's meeting the ATR requirement, but it has that lower volume. So without all these things lining up, I'm not taking the trade, you know. I'm not taking the trade. Let's go over here to SPRC. SPRC is another one that's been getting beat down, and it really doesn't have a whole lot to go off of when it comes to support. 280s down here was kind of support, and it's back up here trading around what, where's $6? $6.37 right now. So let's say 650. Just to keep it in mind. I wish I could. Okay, 659. All right, so that's the monthly chart, and you know it's already kind of showing a little bit of downwards action. Weekly came down here, closed at the 491, and popped all the way back up here to around this level of the 639. But we can see previous levels of sell-off here. Back here, 3 times it hit, and then a couple more above that. So a lot of levels of resistance that could be possible. Now on the daily chart, there's a big obvious gap right here that has already been filled. So 5, or it dropped from the 10 down to the 5 that has already been filled. So what's the incentive for it to be filled again? I don't think it has one, but maybe it'll fill this again and get up there to 10, but that's all hopes and dreams, and yeah, I don't believe in those, not in the market. Let's jump over here to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, huge pre-market spike here, spike back down into this level from 9 all the way back into the 650. So looking a little bit bearish. Let's look at the overall market as well. Overall market took a nice little dump down We have 1 minute to the open, and I think those three will be the top watches coming into the open: STTK, CCCC, and then SPRC. 1 minute left to the open, so I'll be watching these ones. Good morning, Lori Lee. Good morning, Drifter. Good morning, Mike D. I guess we'll start off watching the biggest mover, right? STTK, which is up 109%. And this was that resistance level that I placed. We'll see how it does with this resistance, and does this resistance hold it down? The next level that I really was looking at was this little dip. And pre-market, this dip went all the way down to the 213s, but found some type of buying pressure around the 250s. So maybe a level between the 250 and the 3 could be possible support, but with that what was I saying? But with that catalyst, we'll have to see what happens. All right, so market is about to open. 6 seconds. Let's see what this thing does. I'm going to clear this little zone out because it kind of is aggravating me, the color of it. Okay, so I will make this back this color. Yeah, okay. So that's the zone that could be resistance. We don't really know what it is right yet. Did I say right yet? We don't really know what it is. Coming up into that level, touching the top of the zone. Will it be held down out of this level is the question. '70s, just barely trying to get out of that level. '71s, I know people are looking for that 75 break. But the hot stock of the day, will it give them what they want? Usually the hot stock is a disappointment. Can it actually break 75, or will it break hearts? 72, it's tempting people. It's tempting them to buy over 70. 73, and then a big little push down there off the 70s again. 71, very tempting stock at the 475 today, but we don't fool with temptation. We want to take the best entry. We want to get in when the shorts are in pain. All right, buy low, sell high. So again, just a lot of temptation on this 15-minute candle. I know if a 15-minute candle is this tempting, I know a 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute is crazy temptation on this one. The lower you go, the more noise you see, more noise you hear, I guess you can say. Almost touched the 75. It's like almost got you. Yeah. CCC is getting up as well. Let's jump over there. Actually, I'll stick with this one for until it shows true bearishness. I'll stick with this one. It's up 124%. It touched the 75 there. Hey, will it hold the 75? Is the question. Okay. Holding the 75, 85s. Ooh, there's a little spike. Up to 5 real quick. Okay, so holding over that supposed resistance level. Throwing that wick out there. So let's see if it can come back and test this level correctly. So test this 470, whatever it's, and hold this level. Can we get consolidation above 470 is the question. This is the first candle, and it's looking pretty bullish. Throwing that wick up there. All right, so let me just swing over here to CCC real quick. CCC also threw a wick at its highs. but it came back down. SPRC continued to go on down as well through the 6. So we'll jump back over to STTK. So can the 470s hold on this test down here? Are those buyers in here? Let me look at the volume here. So the most traded area right here is 470. So a 470 break, and I was talking to Donnell yesterday about, I was looking at this on ADTX, and I was like, okay, this is pretty much the highest traded area, which is 470. If this breaks down, I want to see a breakdown and a hold of this level. Or in the case of this, it's looking just bullish. Can it just hold this level outright? Like get a bunch of buying off of 470. But right now, it's just trying to fight to hold 5. It's fighting. Okay, back under 5. Can we get a good test and consolidation on that 470 level without a dump? Or if it does dump through there, can we get a reclaim of 470? Now, one thing that does concern me is this is a whole dollar resistance level that is struggling around. So yes, it could continue to go higher, but this is a whole dollar level. And a lot of prop firms and things trade things above $5. So could this be something where they jump short just to keep it under 5? I don't know. You know, $5 is a crazy level. 5 is almost like 10 in a way. So 10 gets a whole lot more action because it's a higher price and more people are willing to stick their toes in. But 5 can be kind of iffy as well, especially for a small cap. Right now, STTK ATR is now 45 cents. CCCC ATR 35, and then SPRC just, it's just not getting any volume. Not looking good at all. Right now, STTK is the only one with the relative volume and the relative standard deviation that will meet my criteria. The only thing that is missing is the ATR. Okay, trying to test the 470s once again. And you can see how these levels are being built out here. And this is why I got rid of that other level 2 or whatever. That other level 2 is trash. That the blue looking one on TOS. I rather just use this because you can see the volume building up on these levels. Like look how clear this little graph is. You can see exactly where people are super interested. There's the $5 right here that they traded around, which is a whole dollar level. And if that ends up being a short, somewhere where the shorts are really interested, and dives from here, the next level that it was trading at was 470. So I'm thinking it can come back down here, but I may be wrong. We'll see. And then below the 470, there's really not another point that that has been kind of put in there yet. Let's jump over here to CCC. Again, looking very, very bearish. coming back down into this level after trying to break out. That's a false breakout. That does not mean it's over with for it, but definitely probably scared some longs out of there. SPPRC big buy up off of the $6. Um, yeah, big buy up off the $6. We'll see what it wants to do. Will it be able to break back over this 644 off this bottom? Now, it does have a pretty good ATR, $1.38 on the scans. The only thing that it doesn't have, it's not abnormally receiving volume on today. I like to see this at 2x. I like to see relative volume at 2x. So I like to see that volume coming in. It's just not there yet. Okay, so still on the struggle bus at $5 with STTK. And the more trading this thing does, when it does dive, if it does dive away from this, these will be new levels of resistance. This is resistance from 510 looks like, or 515 all the way down to like $5. So 515 down to $5. And now it's diving away from that level. Let's see what happens around this 470. Coming down under 5 once again. There it comes on down. Come on down. 470. You know you want it. All right, so there's 475. This was the previous level. Will buyers step up at this level? And so usually I'm not trying to enter until I confirm that buyers want this thing at 470. This candle is about to close in about 5 minutes. And we'll see in 5 minutes, will it still be above 470 or will it continue to find sell-off pressure to get out of the 90s and away from $5? Let's also keep an eye on the SPY. Had a little bit of a pop back after a nice little drop from 465 down here to 464. Only $1 move down, not a huge move. Still very bullish on the monthly chart. Broke out and is still holding above these highs of the 460. $4 above it. Okay, again, another come down towards this 470 level, running out of those buyers. Buyers probably waiting for this 470 to get something. Let's see if we see action come in from the buyers at 470. 470, there's 83, 34. They're kind of getting eaten through a little bit. Okay, so a little bit of action above that 470 or around that 470. Popping back just a little bit. We got about 3 minutes left on this candle. They tried to break it. It was a valiant effort. I think this graph is just so much easier to look at than the level 2. So much easier. I mean, on level 2, yeah, you would see that this 367K sitting out there on level 2, but it just makes it so much easier just to see and not have to see the numbers moving up and down so much. You could just see the graphical. And I like graphs. I do. I'm a simple person. Donnell says he's in SPRC long at 626. SPRC 626. 626. That is around somewhere. 626. Around here, 625-ish level. And yeah, it just doesn't have that relative volume. It needs more eyes on it. CCC exploding back over from this high. And this is what I was saying. Maybe it's not over. It got a good push down, but coming into the close of this candle, look how bullish CCC is. That's pretty bullish over this breakout. It's closing a full body over the 350s. and it's almost coming. And this is what we kind of like to look for. The relative volume is over 2x. The relative standard deviation is coming up to that 2x level, where people kind of look. But this ATR is still 36 cents. 36 cents. Let's jump back over here. Okay, so STTK ended up breaking down this 70 level. So it has two levels of resistance. One level is up here between 5.15 and $5. Okay, so 5.15 and $5. And then the other level is from, where's 470? 470, okay, 470. I really don't see an end to that. Just kind of dove below it. We'll see if it ends up picking back up. But this level was resistance that I thought would be resistance anyway. So just kind of leave that there. If it does work its way back over 470, I'm thinking it's going to be bullish, but we'll see what it wants to do. The next level of interest was down here, $3 down here to the 250. And on these, you know, I would be looking for that 3 to hold kind of nicely. Don't really want to see that 3 crack too much. But if it goes below 250, that's a 50-cent risk. You know, if it goes up, it's 50 cents, right? You just accept the risk. But I would definitely want to see that whole dollar hold. Wouldn't be trying to buy that 250. Anyway, let's jump back over to what was the other one? SPRC holding right here at the 615. Can it get more volume though? Got some buying pressure off this 581. It just needs to start to make higher highs. CCC, another breakout. Coming up here to the top, what is this? 378. And looks like it's going to just be a grinder upwards. Yeah. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Why are breakouts failing? Oh no. Yeah, well, finding a little bit of pressure up there after that small breakout. Maybe it needs to consolidate a little bit, especially after this extension. The ATR, what was it? 36 cents. So this thing moved from 316, the bottom of this candle, up to, oh yeah, it definitely moved this ATR. It moved outside of its ATR, so it needs to consolidate a little bit. Consolidate. STTK. This level of resistance under the 470 is looking like it's kind of taking control and finding a whole lot of push down on that one. SPRC, below this 578, man, that's pretty much the line in the center. It starts breaking that down. That looks like a fader. Well, making its way down there pretty quickly. Okay. Anyway, CCC, continue to find buying pressure up here. STTK. See, the only thing I don't like about this one is it was not able to truly hold this previous breakout level of that 470. And so that's just overall weakness. I think this one's just going to go down on STTK. That's just weakness, man. It should have did a lot more than that, but the more candles that come out, the more doubts will probably be come into the market and lead to a dump. CCC. Coming on down, baby. Will it be able to hold this previous high here? 335s. Made a previous high in pre-market and could come back to trade within this level and try to get back off of it. So that's an interesting level, but for me, this will be buying high. Even if I were to catch it down here and it goes higher, it's buying high to me. But it could work out. So sometimes it's not about buying high, it's about managing that risk. So if it does break this whole thing down below 317, you could be out, right? So the risk here would be from 340, test of 340 down here to the 317. So that's what, 30 cents of risk? So that's how, even if you're gonna buy high, you can still manage your risk up there. Okay, another try, looking like it wants to push on out of here. May not come back down there. SPRC still making decisions. Oh yeah, that thing's not coming back. It's not coming back. It's putting in new. Wow, those breakouts are crazy. 378 breakout. That's two failed breakouts. People are gonna get tired of doing that. It's gonna end up dumping if it keeps doing that. That's crazy. That push out 378 up to 383. Only about 10 cents, but that rip down was crazy. Okay. STTK continue to try to go lower. This is pretty much what I do. I just try to get my list down to maybe like 3 or 4 stocks, and then, to be honest, it wouldn't even be 3 or 4 because 2 of these don't even meet the ATR for me, so they would just be automatically out, which are STTK and CCC, whatever. They just would be like, yeah, I'm good. And then SPRC, it doesn't meet the relative standard deviation for volume, so I'll be like, I'll just have an empty chart right now or empty list because none of these meet the criteria. I have become extremely picky. No, I'm kidding. I'm not really picky. I just want my stats to be in play. I think the hardest part of some of these setups is you never know when they're going to make it to support or resistance, which is why it's so hard for me to record what's going on when I'm trading. Like I'm like, oh okay, I come in. Sometimes I don't even have time. I have the plan set up. I'm like, okay, once it gets here, I'm gonna do this, and it just takes time. Maybe it just plays around that level for a little bit, then drops into it. I'm like, all right, I'm buying here. I mean, it may be a couple hours. It may be closer to lunchtime. It's just, I'm like, man, I'll do recaps, man. I just do recaps, man. The good thing about TraderSync, though, the journal that I use, and the link is in the description, is that you can do replays in there of your trades, especially with TD. See, when I was with Charles Schwab, they wouldn't bring over the times, like the hold time. So if I'm in a trade, I don't know how long I was in the trade. But with TOS, I know the time that I was in the trade, right? So over here on my uh, dashboard, I can see, hey, how much time, the hold time. So ADTX, my hold time was an hour, or not an hour, 54 minutes, or wait, am I reading that right? Wrong? Whatever. 54 minutes and 42 seconds. My hold time on EYPT was 36 minutes. My whole time on BMA was, is that 2 hours and something? I think it is. It's like 2 hours and something. So I can actually keep up with how much time I'm spending. A lot of my plays, they have to play out. It's not like I can just get in, get out. I have to let it play. But when it plays and that FOMO comes in, boy, 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 it is beautiful. I can just feel it. I can feel the FOMO coming in. I'm like, yes, come, just rain on me. But if it does go against me, my risk is 300 bucks. So if it hits that level, I'll just get out. Because what I want to do is just continue to grow the account, and eventually it won't even matter. I just get back in if it does start going my way, right? Just take that second chance opportunity. But sometimes that second chance opportunity is weaker than if it would have went the first time. So my expectation have to be lowered on that second chance opportunity. Because all the volume is in the pretty much early in the morning. People trying to get money and get out. All right, let's jump back over here to STTK. Continue to just look bearish under that level. SPRC. Hopefully, Donnell, are you still in that one? Give it a shot. Nice. He's still in there. I looked at this buying pressure under here around this $6. Remember, whole dollar levels. That $6 level, don't play. It can do some stuff for you. And we'll see what happens. It has a good ATR. It just needs a little bit more volume. That's it. 3 million shares traded on SPRC right now. Telling you, whole dollar levels, I really, really like trading whole dollar levels. Half dollar levels, I don't trust them. I feel like 650 could easily become 615, you know. But at least you did buy the dip. So here you go getting your blessing. You got what, 625 up a couple cents. Nice, nice, nice. If we look over here on the charts, we can see that it's actually holding above the body of this previous 4-hour candle and this hour candle. The body was at 659. So we'll see how much it can hold and can it go wild. Can you go wild? Get up to 7, 8. I feel like shorts, especially above, if it goes to 734 here, they're gonna get cooked at 734. But you got room to let it play. I mean, that's the way I trade. I really don't just get in and out on the same candle. I get in, let that candle play out, or I get in after I see a nice little drop, get in and then let those candles play out. And I like to see consolidation above where I got in. And that's where I kind of place my hard stops. Like on this candle, if I was in it, I'll be looking to put my hard stop at right under the 650s. But for now, my hard stop will be up below this candle. So right at the 6 level. Right at that whole dollar level that's been holding. Because right now, if you enter that 625, that's a 25-cent risk. That's not that much unless you got like 10,000 shares. So I'd be like, yeah, I risk that. But definitely want to see it go ahead and attack and start to hold this 659 level. Can it pick up a little bit more volume? Sticks is looking like it's breaking down $4. I said sticks, whatever it is, STTK. CCC continued to be a grinder on the day, going higher. Never did come down, looking like it's going for the $4 level. If we look over here on the monthly chart, we can see that it has broken over this previous level, 390s. This level could be resistance at some point, but I don't know. Has been getting beat down so much. I mean, I'm thinking maybe it can come on back down now that it's hit this top of 390 right at 4. So if it comes down, will more volume pour into like SPCR or something else? Oh my Jesus. I just switched back to SPCR. And SPCR is back to $6. Okay. So back to 6. What in the world, bro? This is a crazy stock, bro. Look at these pops off of 6. This is two times that is mine. It would have to close this candle for me to even take a trade. Because one, this body is to the low side of this candle. Two, yes, it has buying pressure down here, but still, we need more volume to hold this thing up. You know, so yeah, I don't know, man. This one would have me scratching my head so much that I would just walk away from the screen. I'd be like, I don't know. CCC is continuing to find that pressure up at the $4. STTK. Okay. And really nothing else that I see on the scans that is interesting. I mean, we got EOSE up 17%, but that is absolute trash behind these ones up 25, 70, 93%. It's just no reason to even go and touch EOS. It's got partnership news, so not really the greatest. All right. Anyway, I need to get to my morning meeting. Um, if I see anything that I like, I will definitely let you guys know. SPCR did close this candle with the body to the low side, so I'm thinking that's bearish action. We'll see if it defeats the buyers that got in here around 6. And yeah, that's kind of what I think is gonna happen. But with the way this thing is popping, it could go another way. But it does look like volume is slowing down coming into it. But yeah, if you're gonna continue trading, definitely keep your head on a swivel. And as always, we're coming to the end of the year. I'm trying to close this year up nice and green. Got a couple of green months behind me this month. If I could just, make a couple more $100, it'd be nice. But not wanting to force anything, just looking for that value in the market. And we continue to see this thing just kind of show a little bit of bearishness around that $6. But yeah, that is it for me today. And as always, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you like the content, if you like the analysis. I don't know what else to say. That is it. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Peace.